Hey guys, we're out here at Glen Helen with our 2024 Husqvarna 501 FE, brand new motorcycle from the ground up. This thing is all new, and this bike has really, either this or the KTM, have really set the standard for dual sport motorcycles in this category. And I think with all of these updated changes, they're going to still be right up there at the front of the pack. So let's go over a few of the things that they've changed for this year, including the frame from the ground up. Different rigidity and flex characteristics to give it a little bit more soft, kind of forgiving character. The subframe is now part aluminum and part composite that allows it to flex and return to its original shape. So if you do fall, it doesn't stay bent on you. So a couple of little neat changes there. And they also, while I'm talking about the frame, got a really cool pearl blue coat in it. If you're looking at it, they've really paid attention to detail in this bike, and it shows in every way. The engine, again, all new from the ground up. They've drawn from their street side, from their off-road racing side, and sort of built a motor that takes care of everything. You know, this bike is really designed to be street or dirt. The versatility of it is what makes it so cool. And they've got a lot of experience now on the street and off-road side to draw from. So built a 500 engine that is licensable in all 50 states and a whole lot of fun. The suspension is the exact WP stuff, so they went to a spring back on this, away from the air, which personally I like better. Just less work, less things to check before you ride. You just set it up and go. They also have toolless adjustment on that, so you can stop at any point in your ride, adjust your compression or rebound, fork or shock, and the air filter for that matter, all toolless. You pull the side panel right off and pull the filter out and change it. So a lot of thought has gone into the development of these, the engineering, and it shows. They come with ODI grips, odometer, speedometer, you got your horn, blinkers, kind of everything has been thought of. It's well placed and doesn't seem like, a lot of times these dual sport bikes, to me, you get the big tank, you get the big fob with all the stuff up here, and the front end feels very heavy and top heavy. These don't have that feel. I've ridden them in the past, and I was not the test rider today. I'm still off with a little hand injury, but we'll bring in our test rider, Rick Doughty, and get his thoughts on it. But from the ground up, this thing has been massaged, gone through, and all new. So if you are looking for a new motorcycle, the 2024 is a great place to start. All right, so we've got our senior director, Rick Doughty, here, kind of the creator and leader of the Vintage Iron Project stuff that we do. And you were our test rider today, and I know you do a little bit of dual sporting. You enjoy this kind of stuff, so I was curious to hear your opinions on this thing. And give us a little bit of background. How much time do you have? Do you dual sport quite a bit? Something new?
Quite a bit. I have for probably the last 15 years, so I've had a dozen or so dual sport bikes. And if you're coming from, older dual sport bikes, this thing's magic. If you're trying to compare it to a motocross bike, it's going to feel heavy. But the thing is so capable. The bikes in the past that have been legendary, I mean, there's a bunch of them, right? And the 501 and the 500 KTM have a cult following. And when you get on and ride one for the first time, you go, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. Because it belies the weight that it has. It goes everywhere you don't even think it can go. And, I'm sure it made me look better than I am today. So, well,
it's KTM and Husqvarna's best-selling motorcycle by far. It's not even really close. So that should give you some indication of the cult following that it has and why. So tell me a little bit about your initial impression of it, having jumped on it for the first time. You can ride this thing right out of your garage, right to some trails like we did today, and have a good time and ride home.
Right. I mean, it's not an adventure bike, but boy, it was way better on the road than I thought it would be. I'm really impressed with the span of capability that it has, because we got into some rocky, nasty stuff today, and I was like, oh man, if this thing's going to turn into a dirt bike, it needs to do it right now. And it never faltered. I did, but it didn't. I think if you need to figure out what kind of riding you're going to do. If I was going to ride this mostly in the desert, I'd change the tires. If I was going to split it up 50-50, I'd leave the tires that are on it. They're kind of an adventure sport style tire. When you go after that 50 state legal emission stuff, they're pretty choked down. But on the throttle, you really don't even notice it. It's only when you're putting around the pits that it felt a little bit lean, but they have to be to get by emissions. But on the trail and on the road, it doesn't feel choked down at all.
No, when you twist the throttle on these, they go.
Yeah.
I've ridden one of these in the past and came away really impressed. And there's a lot of things you can do to also, if you want more power, you can squeeze it out of these. Like you said, they're designed to pass any emission standard, and that gets harder and harder every year, it seems like. But the performance is there in the engine. What about the suspension? That was the other thing to me. You know, the KTM is all linkless. They have the PDS system, which actually for off-road works great. And I found it interesting, the Husqvarna, rather than just following all the same things, they have a link and kind of have their own setup and their own feel.
Well, I never noticed the suspension, which is the best endorsement I can give it, right? I never felt like the front end was washing, the back end wasn't wagging its tail. I never thought about it. It was really plush, even when we were in some nasty stuff. And it felt good and versatile on the road, you know, leaning into corners and stuff. It wasn't too mushy. I think you'd have to stiffen it up if you were going to go Grand Prix racing, but that's racing, and everything shouldn't be about racing, right? This is a motorcycle that you can go riding with your buddies. You know, you can pull it out of the garage, throw on a helmet, and go have a great time. And I think this bike will be around for a long time to come because it's so amazing. You know, one of the aspects of it was how much detail there is, right? Like you just look at the seat cover and there's all those textures, and you look at the kickstand, it's a piece of art, the way it's all a carved piece of aluminum. And when you see something like that, they put that much time into the Kickstarter, you know they put that much time and attention into the whole bike, and it shows. I mean, I got on it today having never ridden one before and loved it. Didn't have to think about anything, didn't adjust anything. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about these. They're just really comfortable and easy to ride for a very broad range of riders, beginner to expert level.
Did you point at me when you said beginner?
Well, I didn't, but my thumb kind of went this. But it is, like you said, it's great. If you want to go do a trail ride with your buddies, you don't have to load up all your stuff, pack everything. You just get dressed, hop on, maybe grab your driver's license if you want to be safe, and hit the road, you know? And that makes it's a totally different deal, right? Than whether if you're on a street bike, you got to drive to a track, or a dirt bike, you got to drive to a track, or drive to an off-road area. Not anymore. It's legal. It almost doesn't seem legal at times because it does feel like a dirt bike.
Yeah.
And so I found myself at times at home in the past feeling like I'm going to get in trouble. I shouldn't be riding this on the street. It's too much fun. It's too light. It feels too much like a motocross bike to be legal, but it is legal. So a lot of fun, and comes with good ODI grips. You've got everything that you need up here, speedometer and odometer to kind of keep you on track. It'll keep track of trip segments, and things like that. And we talked about the suspension being very easy to adjust.
Translucent tank now.
Yeah, I do love the tank, being able to see where your fuel's at. Anyone that's dealt with a black tank knows the struggle of, you know, I don't know about you, I put a lighter into there just to see. It's only blown up a couple times on me.
Yeah.
Anything else about the bike that stood out to you kind of on your first ride today?
I would go back to the fact that I could just get on it and ride. I mean, we didn't ride super hard today, but normally you take some adjustment to get used to a different brand, right? And there was none of that today.
Yeah.
I was really impressed at the overall, and I don't know how much stuff you'd even have to do to it. The aftermarket guys are going to hate this bike.
I know, outside of, I don't know, tires and I guess
bling.
if you want to put some stickers or bling on it, that's about it.
Right.
Well, a great all-around motorcycle. There's a reason this is their best-selling bike. The 501 and KTM 500 EXC are gold standards, really, in that segment. And so we got a lot more planned for this. We're going to do some really neat rides with some different folks, and stay tuned for those. If you're in the market, these are at your local Husqvarna dealers now. So get down and ask some questions and really take in all of the attention to detail and how beautiful this bike really is. Rick, thank you for your help.
Absolutely. I wanted to mention, you know, they've got a very large line of off-road bikes, and they've got two-strokes.
That's right. 150, 250,
And 300.
two-strokes, all throttle body injection, and a 350, 500 in this, as well as different off-road racing models, and
yeah,
they got a lot of stuff. So go down to your Husky dealer. They've got something for you. We appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you soon. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, comment what you thought, and share it with your friends.